If you're new to the channel, then welcome, and if you're returning to the channel, then welcome back. I just want to extend a quick thank you to all of you for tuning in. So usually when I kick off these videos, I like to start out with a, personal story that's related to the topic that we're going to discuss. But when it comes to the topic of saving money, I have definitely already made videos like this in the past. In fact, I already have a video entitled something like my #1 best tip or trick for saving money. And my very first video was talking about saving money by cutting down on unused subscription services. And even last week, I made a video talking about a savings account that gamifies the process of saving money for you, so it can just help and incentivize you to save more money. I guess what I'm saying is, it must feel like I'm just beating you over the head with the same information every time I talk about the topic of saving money. And this week isn't going to be any different, which brings us to today's video. Now, I am kidding just a little bit. I mean, it is going to be slightly different in the fact that I'm going to be talking today about actual practical tips that I use either day to day, week to week, or month to month. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. My #1 tip or trick that I use to save money or be frugal and cut down on my expenses is that I utilize a ton of free software. And this has undoubtedly saved me thousands of dollars over the years. I'm talking about going out to the internet, downloading a program like uTorrent, connecting to a website like the Pirate Bay, collecting all the torrents, getting a bunch of free music and movies and video games and all kinds of... I'm totally just kidding. If the FBI is listening, or copyright lawyers, or the internet sheriff, that was a joke. Don't go out, don't download torrents for illegal software. You're either going to get viruses or you're going to get in trouble. But what is truthful is that there's actually a ton of free legal software that's really good and very feature rich. In fact, the very software that I use to make these videos and edit this audio and even the thumbnails that I make for these videos, it's all done utilizing free software. So say you actually want to find these things, how do you do it? Well, let's say you have an actual program that you want to use in mind, like you were thinking about getting into making videos, so you want a video editing software like Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas. Well, when you go to do your Google search to figure out where that actual program is offered, what you're going to do instead of going out and buying it is in your search, you're just going to add the words free alternative. And that's going to bring you to a ton of great free options for video editing software like what I use. And you can literally do this for any piece of software that you might be interested in. In fact, I find that most of the time, all of these programs that are free are just as feature rich or very close to their paid alternatives, and it's going to meet your needs 99.9% of the time. So if you want to save thousands of dollars year by year, make sure that you're looking for free alternatives to any kind of software that you might be using. #2 is that I cut my own hair. And I know that some of you are now zooming into my hair right now and thinking, yeah, I can tell you cut your own hair because it looks terrible. Or some of you others out there might be thinking like, wow, that's extremely sketchy and I would never do that. But here's the thing that I realized for myself, and it probably applies to a lot of you who are watching this video as well. I was spending about $30 a month going out and getting a haircut. And when I went to go to the barbershop or to the haircut place, I wasn't asking for anything like complex. It was literally just sticking a #4 clipper guard on the clippers, running it up the sides and the back, and then just trimming a little bit off the top. Finally, one day, I just decided to brave it and try it on my own. And it turned out, at least for my own standards, to be acceptable for me. Now, if I was paying for $30 a month at 12 months for an entire year, that would mean I was spending $360 a year. Now, by cutting my own hair, I am able to just hold on to that money and keep it all for myself. So if you're someone like me who gets a very simple haircut and you're brave enough to try it on yourself, it's a good way to save some money in the long run. Now, #3 is something that I did very recently, but it's started saving me a lot of money already. And that was switching my phone plan from T-Mobile over to Google Fi. Now, this isn't meant to be a section of the video where I give you a great advertisement about Google Fi and I start picking on T-Mobile. But those just happen to be the services that I was using at the time, so they're the ones that I have to talk about to actually give you some hard numbers. So if you go to T-Mobile's website, you'll see that if you want to get an unlimited data talk and text plan, it's going to cost you for one line on the account $60 a month. Now, the thing is, I realized that 85 to maybe even 90% of the time when I'm using my cell phone, I'm always connected to the Wi-Fi and I'm always at home. On top of that, I have 2 premium accounts, one being a YouTube premium and the other being a Spotify premium, which both allow me to actually download music and videos to my phone. That way, if I want to listen to something on the go, I don't have to use my data plan when I'm out and about. And I really utilize this feature a lot, which means that any kind of unlimited or even, 3-6 gigabyte phone plan, I was paying for data that I wasn't really utilizing in the long run. So I started thinking about what might be some cheaper alternatives when it comes to cell phone plans. And I came across Google Fi as one of the plans that I might be interested in. Now, Google Fi's cheapest plan is actually a flexible plan. This means I pay $20 a month for unlimited talk and text, and for every gigabyte of data that I use, I get charged $10. And for any data that I use over that 6 gigabyte cap, I can still continue using data, but just the payment never goes up. Now, this actually caps up to a total of an extra $60, so my phone bill will never go over a total of $80 per month. So I went ahead and signed up for this plan just to give it a shot and see how much money I could save. And since I download all of the videos and music that I usually watch or listen to when I'm on the go, and I'm connected to Wi-Fi when I do that, I figured I wouldn't be using much data when I was, out and about and doing things. And as it turns out, my last 3 or 4 phone bills have literally been $25, $25, and $26. And the only reason for that is because of the taxes and like the very minuscule amount of data that I use when I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. And the great thing is that Google Fi isn't even the cheapest available option out there. It was just one that I was particularly interested in. There are plans out there that you can get for $15 to $20 a month on these prepaid phone plans, and it can end up saving you a ton of money. If you compare $25 to $60, that would be a savings of around $35 per month, which would be somewhere around a little over $400 a year. So if you're someone like me who's not using a ton of data on the go and you're always connected to Wi-Fi and you download things to your phone to actually listen or watch them, I would recommend checking out an either prepaid phone plan or even something like Google Fi. Now, number 4 is something that's very simple but also very effective, and that is every time that I go out to a restaurant to either dine in or get takeout, the only thing that I ever order to drink, if I even order a drink, is 99% of the time just water. And this is something that I think a lot of people overlook, because when you think about dining out, you're just thinking, okay, I'm going to go out and eat and I'm already splurging on myself a little bit, so I might as well just get to drink whatever I want. And that's okay. I mean, there's really no problem with doing that. You're already spending money on an expensive thing anyway. But for me, I always like to save money where I can. Combine that with the fact that I don't ever really drink soda anymore or any kind of like sugary drinks, I can save myself somewhere between $2 to $3 when it comes to going out and dining. So if I had to take a stab at how much money I would be saving by, eating out twice a week and only drinking water, let's see. If a drink, like a soft drink, is somewhere between $2 and $3, it would be $2.50. And I'm eating out twice a week, so that's a saving of $5 per week. At 52 weeks for the year would be $260 that I'm saving by not ordering some kind of soft drink. This next one is going to sound kind of silly, but I think it's really been true, especially for my life over the years, and that is I play a ton of video games, and I've always played a ton of video games. See, I believe that if you can find a video game you can really get into and it has a lot of replayability, it really ends up being a cheap form of entertainment that has a high return on value. And I'm lucky enough to have a lot of friends who enjoy playing video games, so instead of going out to the clubs or going out to the movies and spending money, we just stay inside, get on the computer, get on voice chat, hang out there, and just play in the virtual world. Now, of course, you should make time to go out into the real world and do things, but all I'm trying to say is that instead of spending every weekend or every other weekend like by going out and drinking, I spend 99% of that time just inside and playing video games, and I think that saved me a lot of money over the course of my life so far. Alright, now number 6 isn't as important as it used to be, especially because I work from home now, but something else that was really saving me a lot of money when I was doing a lot of driving was that I picked a vehicle that had a very high mile per gallon efficiency. So I drive a 2013 Ford Fiesta, which is still running amazingly, and I get around 38 to 40 miles per gallon. Now, this was especially a big deal when I used to have to drive a round trip to my job. I think it was 70 miles. It was 35 miles one way and 35 miles the next way back home. And because my car was so fuel efficient, I didn't have to spend as much money as someone else who was driving a less fuel efficient car and paying a lot more for transportation fees and gas. And now for my final tip, number 7, this is something that I actually did recently as well, and that was go out and get a library card. First off, library cards are really great because they're free. At least I'm pretty sure they're free. The one that I got was free. And kind of like how video games can help fill up a lot of time and be a cheap form of entertainment that has a high return on value, I think books are another great way of achieving that same kind of idea. Compared to when I was a kid, libraries have changed quite a bit. They offer a big range of different services and things that you can actually check out, and so far it's been a really cool and fun experience. So there you have it, 7 practical tips that I use, day to day, month to month, or week by week. And I don't know why I said that out of order. I should have said day by day, week by week, or month by month. But anyway, I hope that was helpful for you and gave you some ideas on some possible ways that you can save money on a more practical basis. As always, like the video, comment down below, and if you want to stay up to date, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you all next time.